Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the sixth edition of HCL Grant, one of the biggest and most coveted institutionalized CSR grants in India. I am Devapriya and I'll be your host for the day. Today we are joined by Ms. Nidhi Pundhir, Director HCL Foundation, the CSR arm of HCL Technologies, our esteemed NGO partners and our friends from the media. As we have assembled today to announce the winners of HCL Grant Edition VI, we are also happy to share that HCL Foundation is celebrating its 10 glorious years of building resilient communities. Before we begin the conference, I would like to share some key instructions with you all. During today's conference, all attendees will be in listen-only mode. For best results, please select the focus and full screen view on top right of your screens. There will be a media Q&A session at the end of the conference. Once you raise your hands, we will unmute your lines for asking your questions. If you face any technical difficulties, let us know your questions using the Q&A panel and we will read it out for you. In case you drop out, please rejoin us using the same invite link. If you experience any other technical difficulties, you can message us using the same Q&A panel. I would now like to welcome Ms. Nidhi Pundhir, who has been playing a pivotal role in HCL Foundation's journey, to take us through the various initiatives of HCL Foundation and the journey of HCL Grant so far. Nidhi, over to you.
Namaskar and a very good morning to all the viewers here who have come and who are attending this very special event today morning where we are announcing the HCL Grant Edition VI results. This is a very special year, viewers. We all know that we've been facing the challenges posed by the COVID pandemic. Yet, at HCL Foundation, we continued with the journey of marking the socio-economic and environmental impact through our flagship programs. Let me once again welcome the HCL Grant Edition VI finalists and the media partners who have gathered today morning on this very special day from all over the country. Thank you so much for being here, joining this very unique mission. This is a very special year, media partners and NGOs for us. 2021, HCL Foundation is also celebrating its 10th birthday. In this year, we are collating, we are consolidating what is it that we have achieved, how we have moved, and how our strategy has worked on ground. And I must tell you, the feelings are absolutely amazing when we collate, when we gather, and when we really see the impact through the lives of various beneficiaries who are spread across the country today. At HCL Foundation, our vision is to be the source code of socio-economic development. And this we achieve through our flagship initiatives of HCL Samuday, HCL Uday, HCL Grant, Power of One, Clean Noida, Harit, and similar initiatives which are innovated and incubated at HCL Foundation in partnership with our various NGO partners, individuals, governments, stakeholders, community members themselves, and so on. And most importantly, the HCLites, the HCL volunteers who come, engage, and who work with us day in and day out to really add meaning to these programs. At HCL Foundation, the CSR strategic framework is very much inspired and aligned to the Global Sustainable Development Goals, as well as the national missions. We very much thrive to achieve the global agenda of achieving a balanced development across people, planet, thus achieving peace, prosperity, and establishing meaningful partnerships and achieving all of this through absolutely engaging partnerships. And HCL Grant is one such journey that we have been living for last 6 years now. At HCL Foundation, we have made several stories of transformative impact. We have traveled this vast country, and today I'm so proud to mention that it is not only in India, but also globally, that these case studies are taken up in the world of socioeconomic and environmental development and are being scaled up all across. Just to read a few impact highlights, we have impacted more than 1.8 million lives. We have brought under community governance and greened over 52,000 acres of land, rejuvenated 67 water bodies, and we are now also beginning to work towards welfare and taking care of animals, where we've already taken care of more than 5,000 animals. Today, HCL Foundation's footprints span over 21 states and 3 union territories, and we have deployed more than 680 crores over past 10 years. I would like to take you through a quick video that will detail out the points that I just mentioned. Can we take a look at 10 years long journey of HCL Foundation through a short video, please? This was such an amazing recall of the work that we have been doing on ground. There is absolutely, I would say, a whole lot of passion involved in everything that we do, and none of this would have been possible without the critical partnerships, the strategic partnerships that we strike with various stakeholders at block levels, district levels, state levels, national level, wherever needed, and bring the global technical insight, rigor, as well as technique of doing the socio-economical and environmental work. Partners, today's agenda is to announce the results of the HCL Grant Edition VI, and let's come back to that agenda. I know all our finalists are eagerly waiting to hear what happened to them in terms of achieving the mission on which they started this journey by filing an application to HCL Grant 250 days ago. Before I come to announcement of the results, I would really want to send out this message to all NGOs who have participated in this journey and who've been participating all these years in this journey, that we sincerely acknowledge and appreciate your efforts as well as your zeal to come forward and participate in this transparent, very robust exercise where all of you go through a thorough due diligence check. It is your cooperation, coordination, and as well as your willingness to work towards highly ambitious governance agenda as well as highly ambitious program impact framework that makes HCL Grant what it is today. It is one of the biggest CSR grants in India, which is being implemented for past 6 years successfully only because of your participation and cooperation. And on behalf of entire HCL Foundation as well as HCL family, I sincerely acknowledge your effort. Dear media partners, HCL Grant was an idea which was coined in 2016 by our chairperson of the CSR committee, Mrs. Roshni Nadar Malhotra, who's also the chairperson of HCL Technologies. And the whole idea was around acknowledging and recognizing the work that the fifth estate, as we call them, the NGOs, put towards achieving the national missions. We all know that without their contribution, it would be impossible for us to achieve the highest standards of development and the highest standards of socioeconomic developmental growth that we are today achieving in India. Under this very unique CSR grant, we've always intended to institutionalize the mechanisms of CSR. We have always intended to set the highest standards of governance. And the idea has been to reach out to the most remote rural belts of the country where still a lot of work needs to be put in for us to say that yes, these communities, these left out ecosystems have come into the mainstream developmental agenda. We've been looking at projects, programs which have the capability to bring about a transformative shift in the area of education, environment, and health. And for past 6 years, I must tell you, it's been such an exciting journey. We have never ever got bored because the programs are so innovative, the applications are so interesting. So besides announcing the 5 crore grant and the 25 lakhs to the semi I would say to the other finalists, it's more than that. It's much more than that. It's about learning about about all the innovative work that is happening. It's all the professionalism that exists in this sector. It's the ability of the NGO space to be able to measure results, to remain tangible, and to remain accountable towards the program agenda that they put forward. I should also say that HCL Grant has been one of the most instrumental programs in taking the footprints of HCL Foundation across the country. Today, because of HCL Grant, we have our footprint in 18 states and 2 union territories where the HCL Grant programs are functional. We have been working relentlessly in engagement, in partnership from Jammu Kashmir to Nagaland, northeastern states to Gujarat and southern belt of the country, and more than 60 plus crore commitment has already been made through HCL Grant, and we have already impacted 7,33,040 lives through HCL Grant, and the environmental impact is also absolutely wonderful. More than 170,000 native species planted and 52,315 acre of land brought under sustainable community governance. At this stage, I must say that in the HCL grant programs which are awarded, we always have a time-bound agenda, and this year two of our partners would also be kind of coming to a completion of their grant program, but the impact is absolutely commendable. One of them, Foundation for Ecological Security, has been able to leverage 48 crore of government funds under MNREGA using composite land assessment restoration tool, which is the use of technology to map and plan around the available environmental resources, mainly water. And they have brought 24,000 hectare of common land under community governance, resulting in 25% increase of biomass. That has been the kind of impact for over 5 years that we have worked together with Foundation for Ecological Security. Another partner from the same category where we would be nearing completion this year, Mail absolutely innovative model where we work on the concept of saving, work on the concept of financial inclusion with children right at an early age, where saving is inculcated as a habit, as a practice, not only in terms of money, but also in terms of resources. And we recognize the potential of this model, and we awarded the grant 5 years ago. Today, more than 30,000, actually close to 40,000 children have saved 5,79,647 rupees through Aflatun banks, and model is getting scaled up by Chhattisgarh government in 1,300 primary schools today. So that's the level of impact. And now integration of Aflatun is happening at Gram Panchayat level in several parts of the country. That is the kind of model that comes to the semi-finalist and the finalist categories. And I must say that at the level of finalist, it's always very difficult to make a choice. It's very difficult decision. And we compliment all the finalists who have been implementing such beautiful models. At this stage, let me show you a quick video which will further highlight some of the impact that we have been making on ground through HCL Grant. Let's take a look.
मेरा हस्बैंड मिस्त्री काम करते थे और जब लॉकडाउन हो गया ना तो बैठ गए, काम नहीं कर पाए उधर, तो इसमें हम सृजन में आए। 1 रुपये कमा भी रहे हैं और सब्जी उपजा करके खा रहे हैं।
तहस लागनोजम तहस करो वारिया मदद पत जे हेशनोज में सस्क पत जाय में जिन बला आइसस ना पर सोर जे सस्क पे
या को takcak painga chingna WTI ni manderang chingna rijab ko donora chingna namen dakchakani onga jiba walba chingna tepangani gemen chingna warang ko berpengna nanga aro songni nokni manderang naba nama aro matbrung naba nama chingna uni gemen rijab ko de donpainga.
These are some of the voices from across the length and breadth of rural India, where HCL Grant, with its NGO partners, are working towards bringing a paradigm shift in the fields of environment, health and education. HCL Grant is an initiative of HCL Foundation that began its journey in 2015 with a vision to transform rural India.
HCL Grant primarily started with the idea of institutionalizing the whole process of corporate social responsibility. The impact is twofold. One, in the whole process, the way HCL Grant is rolled out. It is a 365 days process where teams work together with the non-government organizations, strengthening them on both aspects, be it programmatic or the governance. The second big impact, of course, is the grant that itself makes. Extremely powerful impact, and which is visible, I would say, the criteria that we've always kept in mind while making the selection and while rolling out HCL Grant.
In its 6 years journey till now, HCL Grant has impacted over 750,000 lives across 8,500 plus villages in 70 districts across 18 states and 2 union territories. In this journey, HCL Grant partner NGOs have also been able to drive policy-level success in few projects.
हाय, मैं तनुश्री, मैं मनीषा। बच्चों के स्टैपी न्यूज़ सर्विस में आप सभी का स्वागत है।
When we submitted the proposal with the HCL, and it takes us almost 1 year to get that grant. First organization, the HCL Foundation, where I have to see quite transparency and quite good process.
ખબર હતી ક્યાં અરજી કરાવવાનો તો તું જે કે કામ અરજી કરી દે તો પણ મળતું નથી.
ये जो अवार्ड हमारे संस्था को मिला है, ये कैटालिटिक रोल प्ले कर रहा है हमारे पहचान को और मजबूत करने के लिए। हम इस HCL ग्रांट से जो मिले हुए सपोर्ट है, इसको हम अन्य जितने भी दाता संस्थाओं के सामने हमने शेयर किया है, और उस चीज़ों को हम जो रख रहे हैं उसका काफ़ी लाभ हमें मिल रहा है, हमें वेटेज भी मिलता है।
HCL Grant's journey began with the vision of building a nation by reaching out to the most unreached and empowering their voices to join the unison of a future-ready India. Today, that vision has metamorphosed into a collective force of our partners, touching hundreds of lives each day. But this is just a beginning. There are many miles to go and many milestones to achieve.
So viewers, relevance, sustainability, inclusion, financial modeling and innovation become the criteria for selection of all the models that come to this stage. They come to this stage of semi-finalists and finalists in HCL Grant, and we continue to measure the program impact throughout the duration of the projects which are awarded through HCL Grant across these criteria. And we are so happy to report that all the projects which have been awarded through HCL Grant have come up as absolutely incredible models living true to the criteria, with the selection criteria that they were selected for. Viewers, as you are aware, that HCL Grant has two distinct objectives. First and foremost is to identify, recognize, award the NGOs that are doing path-breaking work and make a substantial grant available to them for a well-structured proposal that they put forward. And they are selected through almost an 8-month-long due diligence process. The second important objective, which rather is being appreciated globally today, is to document the case studies, to document the best practices which are identified through this process. So each year we document 10 case studies per category, in the categories of education, health and environment, and we bring them together, we collate them in the form of picture stories which are taken in the field. You can say it's a kind of coffee table book, but more than that, it is a compendium of knowledge which is building over these years. And we are so happy that this year also we'll be bringing out the next volume, volume 5 of HCL Grant Compendium. We call it the Fifth Estate, dedicated to nation building towards the finest models of work which is happening in the rural part of India. And we plan to disseminate this volume once again, as we have done the previous volumes, across the world. It will also hit the best possible libraries where students of social development, Also, it will go to all the ministries such that policymakers, implementers, and other people who really want to understand how some of these models can make a difference and need to be supported will study and be inspired from. It is already a very popular compendium, and this year we shall soon have the fifth estate. Today we are unveiling the volume 5 of this compendium. As you can see on the screen, this book will be available both in online medium as well as hardbound copies, and those interested can contact us and can receive a copy. We shall ensure that it reaches all the important offices, all people that are willing to learn and make a difference in the world of socio-economic and environmental development. I must also inform the media partners who have gathered here that a very important aspect of HCL grant methodology is field validations. This was a very challenging year for us. It was the pandemic year where half of the country was going through lockdowns. In fact, there was a time when the entire country was under lockdown. But despite that, we continued with the field level due diligence for our partners. As you are aware, the methodology of HCL Grant has remained consistent over all these years. This year, despite being a very challenging year, we rather added more rigor to it. The weightage for HCL Grant shifted from 30% earlier on governance to 40% on governance this year, and 60% weightage has been given to the program itself. That is a considerable shift, and as a result, several of our NGOs had to work towards leveling up or had to work towards increasing the governance standards within their institutions. This is very important because there is a funding award attached to this grant, and over 3 to 5 years, when NGOs implement the projects, it becomes extremely important that they also observe higher standards of governance, not only for the CSR grant, which comes from HCL Foundation, but also for the larger implementation that they do across their institutions. We've also had an extremely experienced panel of experts involved with us in reading these applications, in ensuring that the best applications are picked up. So we've had more than 50 plus experts who were involved in reading up, as well as selecting the applications and also doing the field validation. We've traveled 64,211 kilometers over 22 days, covering 43 districts in 16 states, despite being the COVID pandemic year. And this could only happen because of the very large partners network that HCL Foundation has across the country. We continued with the process, presenting the 10 best cases or 10 best applications to our sub-juries, which comprise of the senior most leadership from the HCL and Shiv Nadar Foundation ecosystem, followed by very high-level jury deliberations. You're already aware, but just to remind you that we have an extremely prestigious and a very learned jury for HCL Grant, chairperson being Ms. Robin Abrams, who's the oldest serving board member at HCL. She's director at HCL Technologies, board of director, chairperson of HCL Grand Jury. Mr. Shiv Nadar himself, founder HCL, founder and chairman, Shiv Nadar Foundation. Dr. Richard Lauer, president emeritus and of the Field Museum, Chicago. Mr. B.S. Baswan, former director, Indian Institute of Public Administration and former HRD secretary. Ms. Pallavi Shroff, managing partner, Shraddha Amarchand Mangaldas and Company. Mr. Suresh Narayanan, who we welcomed this year as a new jury member, chairman and managing director, Nestle India Limited. We sincerely thank all our jury members for providing their mentorship, time, and valuable guidance to this mission of nation building. I know the excitement amongst our finalists is building on, and they are very keen to know the results this year. But before we do that, I would request Devpriya please take us through the absolutely path-breaking work that our finalists are doing on ground. Over to you, Devpriya, for the video, please.
Thank you, Nidhi. As you rightly said, 2020 has been a difficult year for all of us. But even with the unrelenting pandemic affecting almost every individual across the globe, the current edition of HCL Grant had more than 9,000 registrations. Before we go to the awarding ceremony, we will go through a quick video that wonderfully encapsulates the entire grant process. Can we have the video, please?
In 2020, HCL Grant called for applications in 3 categories: environment, health, and education. The online application portal opened for 60 days, during which the grant received 9,395 registrations and 1,976 completed applications. During this time period, 2 physical and 8 e-symposiums were organized, with the participation of over 4,000 NGOs. In November, the first level screening began, with the field visits and virtual meetings across 16 states and 43 districts by a group of subject matter experts and the HCL Grant team. 30 NGOs were selected for the sub-jury round. The sub-jury includes esteemed personalities from the HCL Group and the Shiv Nada Foundation. Sub-jury chose 9 finalists for the jury round. The jury comprises 6 eminent personalities. The jury has selected 3 NGOs who will receive 5 crore rupees in each category, and remaining 2 HCL Grant finalist NGOs in each category will receive rupees 25 lakhs. HCL Grant, strengthening the 5th estate.
Thank you so much. We will now begin with our awarding ceremony, and we will start with the first category of environment. This year, for the environment category, we received a whopping 90% more applications. Can we have a quick video looking at our finalists, please?
In the environment category, the 3 finalists are Development of Humane Action Foundation, Nature Conservation Foundation, Sahas. The Point Calumet is an iconic coastal wetland complex of India, announced as Wetlands of International Importance, Ramsar Site in the year 2002. In this 38,500 hectare ecosystem, multiple ecosystems thrive together, including mangroves, mudflats, along with tropical dry evergreen forests. Due to this unique freshwater and saltwater intersection, it accommodates numerous species of flora and fauna, along with human population that depends on it for sustenance. But natural disasters such as cyclones, including the recent Gaja cyclone in 2018, damming of rivers, blockages of creeks and waterways have led to its exponential degradation. Development of Humane Action Foundation, or DHAN Foundation, which focuses in the area of poverty eradication along with community development, believes that restoration can be done only by community-led rejuvenation activities, which includes restoration of traditional fishing creeks, desilting waterways and lagoon, and removal of invasive species. The upper catchment of Chenab River Lahol-Pangi landscapes are biodiversity hotspots, and its high fertility attracts both humans and wildlife. In the recent years, the farmlands growing cash crops like apples and iceberg lettuce have expanded and gone in close proximity to the woodlands, thus increasing the frequency of conflicts.
भालू ने इस तरह तबाही मचाया कि सेब का पेड़ नहीं रहा, वो सिर्फ डंडा ही बचा।
कुछ दिन पहले मेरा भी अभी 3 जानवर खाया स्नो लेपर्ड ने।
Study suggests that 90% of households have been impacted and are developing negative attitude towards wildlife. Nature Conservation Foundation, a research-led conservation NGO, is working towards peaceful coexistence of wildlife and communities and wants to mitigate human-wildlife conflict in this area through community engagement. India generates around 26,000 tons of plastic waste every day. Though the larger part of it is from cities, the amount of plastic waste in rural areas is rising exponentially. Due to no waste management system at village level, it is mostly burnt in open or dumped in the water bodies, resulting in water, soil and land pollution. Sahas, a Karnataka-based NGO, it generates awareness among people and provides necessary training to the staff and other stakeholders at Gram Panchayat, Taluk and district level. Then source segregated waste gets collected from each household, where the wet waste is composted and dry waste is further sorted for recycling, which in long run improves the overall health of the environment.
May I please request Nidhi to announce the winner in this category?
I must remind the finalists and all the applicant NGOs that when one NGO wins the award, they are definitely representing the entire Fifth Estate. I must also say there have been so many deliberations at the field assessors level, at the level of our governance partner Grant Thornton, at the level of sub-juries, at the level of jury. And today when I announce the result, I very much convey the sentiment that carries throughout this due diligence process that we must select the one which is truly representative of all the criteria that were chosen, that were identified to select the finalist. But having said that, I must tell you, our jury has conveyed that no decision could have been fully wrong. It's just that we have to still make choice on one. There has always been a very thin line and very difficult choice at the level of finalist, but I must convey and communicate to you the results which have been the winner who has been identified by our esteemed jury. And the recipient of the HCL Grant Edition VI Environment category, the NGO is Sahas. Under the leadership of Ms. Archana Tripathi, the project that they have put up for HCL Grant is Sustainable Waste Management through Community-Owned Rural Resource Systems. The project will be implemented in rural areas of districts Udupi, Ramanagaram, Ballari, and Dakshin Kannada in 560 villages. An extremely innovative concept with a very, very profound proof of concept on ground. Unique factors of this program are that they will be creating community-owned model for collection and segregation of waste, where Panchayat will run the model and Sahas will play the critical role of being the facilitator. They will be leveraging both from government as well as from community and leave a sustainable mark after the grant is over. Over to you, Ms. Archana.
Thank you. On behalf of the entire Sahas family, I thank the HCL Foundation and the eminent jury for having chosen us for this grant. Adverse impact of improper solid waste management cannot be ignored even in rural areas today. We are happy that with this grant, we will be able to expand our work in rural Karnataka manyfold. Thank you and looking forward to an impactful journey with the HCL Foundation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Archana and the entire team of Sahas. Moving on to the next category of health. For the 6th edition of HCL Grant, we saw a jump of 87% in the applications that we received. Can we have the finalists for this category?
In the health category, the 3 finalists are Christian Medical College Vellore Association, India Health Action Trust, Karnataka Health Promotion Trust, diabetes and hypertension, 2 of the most known non-communicable urban lifestyle diseases, are now becoming a common occurrence in rural India as well. But lack of awareness, high consumption of alcohol and tobacco, along with unhealthy dietary patterns, are making rural India even more vulnerable. To curb these rising numbers, Rural Unit for Health and Social Affairs, or RUSA, which has been working in the rural and backward blocks of Vellore district, proposes a model of healthcare services based on the three pillars of awareness, cure, and prevention. In Khairala village of Sitapur district, Uttar Pradesh, Village Health and Nutrition Day is being organized, where well-trained frontline workers are assessing pregnant women and children for early signs of high-risk pregnancies and growth-related complications, respectively. Identification of high-risk pregnancies can help reduce infant and mother mortality rates significantly. But more often than not, the Ashas and the ANMs working in the villages are not equipped or trained adequately to identify such individuals. India Health Action Trust, or IHAT, is trying to change this scenario. IHAT supports the government system to improve maternal, newborn and child health services by providing specific skill set to ANMs and ASHAs, so that they can identify and refer high-risk cases to the hospitals for timely intervention. In the same way, doctors and nurses in the government hospitals are also trained in skills and practices to handle any MNCH-related complications, especially at the time of delivery. This is Shilpa, who recently got married and is living with her in-laws in Kinnal village of Kopal district. Data suggests that there is a 70% chance that she would be pregnant within the first year of her marriage. But her family or the Asha of the village would only come to know about it in the second or third trimester. This is mainly due to the cultural barriers of an Indian family, where a newly married woman lives with her husband's family and is not too comfortable communicating in the first few months of her marriage. In a state where 45% of pregnant women are anemic, Shilpa would probably lose precious time of nutritional value to ensure a healthy maternal and neonatal outcome. Karnataka Health Promotion Trust, or KHPT, who has been working in this region to improve maternal and child health, suggests the key to improve the situation lies in making nutrition and awareness accessible to newly married women in the preconception stage.
Requesting Nidhi to please announce the winner in this category.
It was once again a very difficult choice in the health category as well, because all proposals were so important and so much appealing, starting from non-communicable diseases to maternal and child nutrition. I think the competition was tough. Jury takes into account the fact sheets, jury takes into account the national priorities, jury also takes into account the latest surveys, and we cannot ignore the latest nutrition survey that the country has. So the result for the year, the health category recipient for HCL Grant Edition VI year 2021 is India Health Action Trust, IHAT. They will be working in Madhya Pradesh, extremely left out district, Shahdol district, 478 villages. Under the leadership of their board member, Ms. Lakshmi Sripada, this entire concept has been incubated and has once again a very strong proof of concept. They will improve the services through antenatal care, postnatal care, through early identification, screening and referral of high-risk pregnancy, and also take care of the newborn through enhanced skills of government healthcare workers through e-platforms, lab trainings, and on-site mentoring. Extremely strong on technology. We have extremely high expectations from this program that very left out district in Madhya Pradesh will be able to achieve, or at least come to the mainstream in terms of newborn health and maternal health. And this program will also have a statewide policy advocacy impact. Congratulations, Team IHAT.
Hi everyone, this is delighted news. Thank you once again to the HCL Foundation. I think very much on behalf of India Health Action Trust. I think we're very honored on receiving this award. We really look forward, if we are ready to go with anything, that we've had this entire discussion, deliberation with the foundation over the last few months. I think it is very exciting, it is very strong. I think the journey ahead will be very interesting, and this fund will be a big booster for our efforts going forward in the state of Madhya Pradesh and especially in the Shahdol district. Once again, thank you to the foundation for their 10 years and making us part of their journey. Thank you once again.
Congratulations, Lakshmi, and the entire team of India Health Trust. Moving on to the final category of education. This year, the education category saw a 51% jump in applications from NGOs across the country. Let's have a look at the panelists, please.
In the education category, the three finalists are Child Rights and Youth, Gyan Prabodhini Samshodhan Sanstha, Krida Vikas Sanstha. These are the narrow lanes of a Bedia village, which lead to nowhere, especially for its women and girls. Bedia community has historically been known for its engagement in thievery and knavery, and stigmatized for engaging its women in commercial sex as a source of livelihood. Today, young girls in the age group of 10 to 15 years are most susceptible to be pushed into commercial sex by family and are at multiple risks and vulnerabilities. Child Rights and You, famously known as CRY, has come up as a ray of hope in otherwise bleak future of Bedia tribe. CRY has been working in 8 Bedia villages of Bhopal, Raisen, Vidisha and Rajgarh districts for the past 4 years to help these children to pursue education in order to find alternative ways to lead a dignified life. During a usual morning at this middle school of Kalyan village in Pune district, something unusual is in play. A dialogue is being established through interactive role play and games, where awareness and communication are going hand in hand about sexual and reproductive health education, along with gender stereotypes. In general, these subjects are considered taboo, and children have no access to any capable and structured resource, especially in rural India. To fill this gap, Gyan Prabodhini Samshodhan Sanstha, a multifaceted education and research organization, has designed a unique program called Yuva Sathi that aims to educate and sensitize adolescents to inculcate responsible expression of sexuality, addiction abstinence, gender sensitivity and emotional regulation by exposing them to scientific, factual reproductive health education and a psycho-socio aspect. This is the school ground of Zilla Parishad Uch Prathmik Shada in Gumthala village of Nagpur district in Maharashtra. Teachers are scoring runs and kids are cheering for them. In essence, this is exactly what this on-ground activity run by Krida Vikas Sanstha, or popularly known as slum soccer, aims to achieve by training primary school teachers to engage students in physical education sessions. Krida Vikas Sanstha, which has been promoting education through sports, especially through football, intends to create a sustainable ecosystem of learning by promoting physical education in government schools via training primary school teachers and providing sports equipment. The project also plans to include deaf and blind kids.
Requesting Nidhi to please unveil the winner in this category.
Wasn't an easy choice, once again, for the jury, from sports education to adolescent education to mainstreaming Bedia girls. Very strong appeal, I must say, from our Bedia girls, and with a high expectation from our recipient of the year 2011 HCL Grant Edition VI, education category, child rights and you is the winner of the grant this year. The project will be implemented in 2 districts of Madhya Pradesh, Guna district and Sagar district, in 20 villages. Extremely ambitious program where we look at mainstreaming the girls who are forced into sexual exploitation, taking away their rights from them, which they deserve. And CRY has taken on themselves to be working with them, ensuring education, vocational education, digital literacy to them, and empower them by providing access to mainstream development. The project will use 3-pillar approach by integrating them into school, provide interventions on gender norms and community protection. Congratulations, Team CRY, and we wish you the very best as you embark on this very unique journey.
On behalf of all of us at
Please go.
On behalf of all of us at CRY, Child Rights and You, I want to thank HCL Foundation and the jury for awarding us this amazing grant. I must say that being an organization that's been around so long, the process itself has provided us huge learnings, and I think a lot of things that we would love to put in place. And I hope that this work with some of the most vulnerable girls and children in this country, vulnerable because they have been almost brainwashed into believing that they have no futures, and to provide that different future for them in the districts of Guna and Sagar will be our great privilege. So we are really honored. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Ms. Marwa, and the entire team. And congratulations to all our winners as well as the participants. This is no small feat to be among the 9 finalists after being through such a rigorous selection process.